Hi everyone, this is Balazs from RacingBrick. Today I have the latest icon set here with me. This is the 10360 Shuttle Carrier Aircraft. The front of the box has the usual boring 18 plus design with the modified Boeing 747 and the Space Shuttle Enterprise on it. The livery is from the Paris Air Show in 1983, which was the only time these duo left the US. The back of the box shows them individually, the dimensions and some exciting technical details that I can't wait to build myself. Let's open the box. The set has 2,417 pieces, the price is 230 euros or dollars, and it will be available to LEGO insiders from the 15th of May. We have 16 numbered bags in the box and an envelope. Inside are 2 instructions and a sticker sheet. The sticker sheet looks unusual, well, because all the stickers, except the black ones of course, are on transparent background. That's an interesting approach. Apparently LEGO has admitted defeat because they can't reproduce the white of the bricks properly and the sticker is always brighter, so now we get stickers with transparent background. In the instructions you learn about the history of the Space Shuttle Carrier Aircrafts, then you see all the modifications that were needed to actually carry the shuttles, and then a few words from the designers and some highlights of the LEGO build. Surprisingly, the design team isn't listed here, but here's a photo on Anderson Ward Grubb's Instagram page. As you can see, besides him, as many of you have already guessed, Mike Psyche was involved. He built the original sketch model and he's responsible for a lot of the build tricks on the plane, and Huang Dong was responsible for the technique magic of the landing gear. Now let's start building. The first build is the shuttle, and I'm glad that this time there are snippets of information in the manual again, which were missing in some of the last sets. So far it's been a simple part stacking with lots of wedge plates. Now comes our first sticker. Transparent stickers are less forgiving than normal ones. I have to be really careful here. It looks okay now, but we will check them later. This is the end of the first bag. Here's an interesting assembly. It seems to be a very specific solution to leave a certain length of rod sticking out at the top. Here's an inverted tile with clips, another one here, and we've also integrated towable sockets that are accessible from the bottom. Here's an angled assembly. You can see how this section is taking shape. This is another tricky connection with the clips. This assembly slides here, and you can see how the build benefits from those 2x3 and 2x2 cut bow pieces introduced in Speed Champions sets. With a few more pieces, this section is completed, and then the cargo bay doors are installed. This assembly will support the main engine nozzles. First we add the smaller ones of the orbital maneuvering system and then the main ones. The wheels are added, then comes the assembly of the vertical stabilizer with a nice structure, and it is attached to the body with clips. The final element here is the tail cone, which is surprisingly complex inside, with some cool joining methods. We also have hinges and a triangular flag that fits perfectly into the hole. The end result looks very cool. So the first book is done, let's see the airplane. It's a pretty simple and innocent start, and then boom, this is immediately on another level. If you take a closer look at those gears and axles, you might scratch your head because they are practically blocked by the orange parts, but there's an explanation for that. Everything that is orange here is only temporary and only helps during construction. It will be removed later. We could already see this approach when building the Concorde. This one on top is now removed and we replace it with 2 short beams. They are now connected to the assemblies here in front. The build continues to grow, we have stud connections everywhere, and here comes this assembly with the friction pins, which will serve as a safety clutch in the system. It's time to test the mechanism. As you can see, the worm gear turns the gears behind it and the landing gear supports slowly open, and when they reach the endpoint, only the upper parts rotate thanks to the clutch we just added. Here is the only new part of the set, the landing gear support. It has a cross axle at one end and 4 of these small wheels can be attached to it. We need to mount 4 of them all together and then make sure they are all in the same position and then slide the A-tooth gear over the worm gear. This assembly holds the A-tooth gear in place, and now we can test the synchronized movement of the landing gear, which is really cool. We start again with a similar base, but this one has an integrated mounting strut. A small detail, but what a specific assembly to hold the cross-axle in the center at exactly the required height. Here is the front landing gear. The same new support piece has been used but in a different position, and the neck bracket will also have some significance. The complexity of this structure and how everything is connected is simply stunning. The mechanism can be tested at this point. We also have an integrated clutch here. The nose has a special part usage to be able to align the printed parts properly, And once it's in place, you can see how this mix of printed and dark blue elements work together. After a few different bow parts, the printed one goes here, then this section is done. Time to remove the orange support leg, then connect the two main assemblies, secure the connection with these plates, and now it can stand on its wheels. So we are going to start covering the core of the fuselage with these assemblies. This is a cool one with the double hinges. The number 376 was only used at the Paris Air Show. According to the information I found, this was simply an identification number during the show. We build the next core element with the rear struts. Studs are all over the place as usual. Time to get things covered here as well. And now the future dimensions of the aircraft become visible. There are 11 printed elements for the windows on each side. This assembly fills the gap above and is held in place with clips, a pretty clever solution. Then the top is also covered. It is coming together quite well. A similar technique is used for the underside. We start to build the wings. Here's a grey heart piece, nothing symbolic, but that was the perfect fit for this spot. So that was a bit repetitive, but this is much more interesting. The wing requires some tricky geometric solutions. So here is the entire wing. This section is flexible for a reason. First we have to connect the wing with the cross axles to the support, and then comes the magic moment. The bars at this end have to be attached to the clips, and this configuration gives us the proper angle of the wing, which is seriously impressive. This is the assembly of the Pratt & Whitney turbofan engines. There are some funny parts used here. Now comes the horizontal stabilizer. It also has some funky building solutions, but the same goes for the vertical stabilizer. Check out how those big sticker tiles are attached. Time to put things in place, both stabilizers and a few more parts, and the 747 is finished. Finally we build a stand, a big black thing, we add the two stickered plugs and the set is completed. So that's all the things we've built, and there are a few ways to display them. They can be displayed on wheels like this, but that's probably the least exciting option. The shuttle has to be modified a bit for the traveling position. We have to remove the nozzles from the back and also the wheels. Everything has its own place in the cargo bay. Then we attach the tail cone and we can place the shuttle on top of the carrier. The towable connections are secure enough, although it requires careful positioning to find all the slots, and I wouldn't recommend lifting the whole assembly by the shuttle. They look better like this, but we can also retract the wheels of the carrier and put them on the stand. That's a pretty impressive configuration, definitely the best for display. The construction is quite sturdy. Due to the dimensions it is not easily swooshable, but it can be done. Here it is side by side with the Concorde. As you can see, the Concorde is significantly longer and a bit narrower, a different scale, a different airplane. Here's another comparison with the Space Shuttle Discovery. The fuel tank and boosters are 3D printed. I already had a video about this configuration. Some people have asked why we didn't just get the carrier in the scale of the Discovery. Well, that one wasn't really prepared for proper mounting, and an airplane that size would cost a fortune and wouldn't fit in any room. The shuttle is slightly larger than this city edition, by the way. Interestingly, they use the same elements for the cargo bay door, but the city set has lots of custom molded pieces. So, about the look. I think the shuttle is completely fine. It has some nice building solutions. I really like the storage option. Everything can be neatly packed in the cargo bay. I think most people have had concerns with the carrier, especially the front area. I have read some really harsh comments, but this time I think they are unjustified. Yes, we have visible studs, but I'm not sure you can find a much better solution at this scale without sacrificing structural integrity or creating custom molded pieces. There's a lot of detail, the whole design of the hull is very innovative, and we must not forget that the landing gear had to be fitted, and also a proper and secure attachment system for the wings, which are angled correctly. If there's anything to criticize, it is probably the position of the horizontal stabilizers. They sit higher than they should. What about the stickers? On one hand, transparent stickers definitely look better than the standard white ones. There's no color difference for the background, and I'm not sure if something has changed or they just work better on white, but I don't see any distracting reflections or fingerprints either. The biggest problem with them is still the application. It's very hard to line them up properly, simply because they are very hard to see. I'm usually in favor of stickers in other themes, but this is an icon set that is clearly meant for display. This would really deserve prints only. Another thing you might notice is the weight distribution. The entire assembly is back heavy, so in some scenarios the front landing gear barely touches the ground. The neck bracket I mentioned earlier is there to maximize the length of the landing gear, but most of the time it looks like it's just taking off. So I think this set offers a great building experience. It has tons of LEGO engineering squeezed in that I really enjoyed exploring. Some people are not happy with the look. Personally, I think it's fine. It looks like a LEGO build. The stickers should have been prints, that's for sure. Many expectations come from other companies that were also mentioned in the comments. Kobe, for example. How nice planes can they make on a small scale? Well, just look at the amount of totally custom pieces here and the lack of advanced features or building techniques. I'm not sure we want LEGO to go down this route, but I think such expectations might be related to the ambiguous advertising of the Icons theme and the whole 18+ topic. This set should have been a creator expert set, probably 14+, to make it clear that it was made for people who appreciate all the LEGO building tricks that can be found within. If someone wants a scale model, there are other products for that purpose. There is only one thing left to mention, the price, 230 euros or dollars. The Concorde and the Discovery were both at 200 euros or dollars in comparison. I would have preferred to see it at the same price level, but hopefully sooner or later it will be available for that price or even less at other retailers. So folks, please let me know what you think about the build, the functions, the look. Let's talk about it in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe with notifications as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.